morning. Welcome to Viewpoint, your program of personalities, politicians, and perspectives. Well, we certainly have some perspectives this morning, and we certainly have two great politicians. First and foremost, we always try to start. Let's see, what program is this? Oh, Viewpoint.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, Gravel Gertie, welcome back.
It's coming back to me.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you back. We try to start Viewpoint with a kudo or two for the community. It's made it our practice to do that. And inasmuch as these two entities are going to be discussed with our guest this morning, let's just come up with a kudo for, number one, Eaton Industries, which used to be way back in the dark days, Cutler Hammer. They're going to figure in our conversation here with Mr. Froebe and Mrs. Coffey. So, if you stop to think about it, folks don't realize the impact that Eaton has in our community. They are a vital part of this community in many ways, and we're going to speak to that and how they're working with District 27. And this is kind of reminds me of a sad commentary because Patrick Doolan, Integrity Data, and that too, their firm, we're going to come up, and I'd like to doff my hat in respect to Patrick's father, Maury Doolan. Very recently died, and he was a great gentleman. I was proud to know him as a friend. So with that acknowledgement to Patrick and his family, let's introduce our guest, will you, Mrs. Busby?
I sure will. These two people are representing District 27 in Lincoln, America. And
USA.
We've had him on before, but she's new to us, and they've got some really, speaking of new things to talk about in education, which has changed so dramatically since my kids were in District 27. It's just it's a 180.
Right.
Definitely. Kent Froebe, of course, is the superintendent of District 27, and with him is Barb Coffey, and she is the technology coordinator. Just your very title, Ms. Coffey, is intriguing to me because technology is where it is,
Yes.
And everybody has to incorporate it into their life.
Yep.
Really, we're there. We've arrived. I'm the only fossil around who doesn't Facebook, I think. So we're going to talk about the changes in District 27. And what is the matter with you?
No, I'm laughing with you. Not at. It's a preposition now. It's with, not at. I want to make sure. I learned that word under Catherine McGough, I believe, first grade.
In District 27.
Circa 1928 or something like that.
Well, thank you guys for having us again. I always enjoy my time on the Viewpoint.
You're a nice man.
Well, thank you. Yeah. But I think we have a really good topic to discuss today,
yes.
Technology, and you both probably remember when the calculator was first, implemented.
It was a big deal, wasn't it?
Yeah, and so we've advanced a little bit since then, and I've been very fortunate to work with Mrs. Coffey. When I started as an administrator at the junior high in 06-07, it was her first year starting as the junior high technology coordinator. Now, she had been working in the district previously, and I'll let her tell her story a little bit, but I was very lucky to have her as my go-to for technology, and it's just grown, tremendously. And because of her, I feel like our district definitely stays on pace and a lot of times ahead of the game. And so I'll turn it over to Mrs. Coffey and let her kind of share her background a little bit and all that she does for District 27.
Thank you very much, Ken. Go right ahead, Barbara.
Ms. Barb
One of the
Coffey.
fortunate things is I got to start off my tech coordinator position with Mr. Froebe as a big support even from the get-go. So I feel like he's always had a good understanding of the fact that technology needed to be incorporated into instruction and has found ways to make that happen. But I started off as a special ed teacher for probably 10 years I was special ed teacher, and I found that the students just really responded well to any of the technology tasks I gave them. They were engaged, they wanted to learn more, and they were really quite capable of producing as well as any other student when given the right tools, and that really got me excited about technology from my point of view. And then when we started the computer lab, we had one computer lab at the junior high, so 30 computers to service 400 students. And so my first task was there's not enough technology in this building, and so I went that first year and said we need a mobile laptop lab, and so we got a laptop lab, and teachers, it was immediately scheduled every week of the year, and we went and we got a second lab that following year, and that was thanks to the Woods Foundation. I don't know if you know, they helped support us
so much
by
good.
providing some good grants for a couple of years that helped bring some new technology. Tried out tablets, kind of feel like that was a fad schools went through, were some tablets, and fortunately we landed on a really good device called a Chromebook. Google supports those Chromebooks, so we got involved with Google for Education and started to really promote the use of Chromebooks first in special ed classrooms. Again, that's kind of where my heart is and my background, and I felt like those were the students with the greatest needs, so we started there, and they just took to it so well. We knew it would be a great thing to implement. Formed a technology committee about 4 years ago that decided one-to-one at the junior high was what we wanted to do. But to do that, we needed to train teachers. And so we started putting lots of attention into professional development, and that takes a lot of administrative support. You're giving up a lot of time and hours, and you're getting teachers on board to learn something new. And, you know, change isn't easy for everybody. So we've had a really, really great staff that's taken to this, to using the technology and learning how to use it for their own uses. And that has been a challenge, but also exciting for teachers as they've grown. We've done such a nice job with that Google recognized us. I don't know if you know that, but they sent us an invitation and recognized us as a Google reference district.
How neat.
And what that means is other schools can look at what we've done to get started with one-to-one, and we're a model. We're one of 24 in the state of Illinois, the only rural district in Illinois that's been recognized in this way, and one of 100 in the nation. So,
isn't that something? Aren't you proud? You should be very proud.
Oh, very proud of the administrators and our coordinators, and like Mrs. Coffey mentioned, the teachers have really bought in and value having this technology in their classrooms, and understanding that we're, you know, moving forward with this 21st century learning, that we've got to keep up with the times and make sure that our students are prepared for future careers and jobs. And it's a kudo to Mrs. Coffey and the job she does. Professional development is so important. Obviously, we can give them a device, but if they don't know how to use it or what they're doing with it, it's kind of pointless to spend that money on the device. And so, she does a great job with making sure that
I'd like
they
to
know how to use
comment
it.
that was the first thing Mr. Froebe said when Judy and I worked real hard to try to bring different guests aboard on Viewpoint, and we always kind of got in the back of our minds our educational system here, and she brought up not too long ago, it's time to get Mr. Froebe back, and I said, you're absolutely right. And so the first thing he did when we approached him is wanted to bring on Mrs. Coffey because of his support and his enthusiasm for what she's doing in technology in our District 27. You've got a good board. I know a little bit something about school boards, and you have a good board that supports you and works with you.
Excellent board that
yes.
has the same vision. They value technology, and they want to keep pushing forward. And
that's very important because you're working in concert.
How many? Yeah, you served on the board for how many years?
Oh, a long time.
District 27.
Yes,
yeah.
District 27 for many years. Yeah. So, and those of us who walked those steps are proud of the fact that we stepped in those shoes, supporting our kids and trying to become better students. This is a matter I wouldn't know. It doesn't make any difference. What kind of hardware do you use in the laptops, or do you have?
Well, they're We
Are they
have
laptops?
we've actually we're done using laptops. They've gotten to end of life, and so we've transitioned. Every student at the junior high has been transitioned to a Chromebook, so that
Maybe you could explain, the
Chromebook. I would tell anyone, especially if you're looking to purchase something new, look into a Chromebook. If you don't need software, like you don't have to have a disk and install software on your computer, a Chromebook is fast. You turn it on and it powers up, instead of a laptop where if you turn it on, you wait and wait and wait for it to load. It doesn't get viruses, so you don't have to worry about virus protection, and it syncs nicely with all the Google apps, which are free for everybody, for all users. So it's been a really affordable device and a very functional device for us. And so we found that we don't need the laptops. We search for free apps and extensions for the students to use. And so we're also teaching the students how to use tools that once they leave us, they know, hey, if I need my device to do something, I can search for an app or an extension that will do that for me. And we're teaching them some independent skills and how to use tools in a manner that they might need them in their careers.
I think this is just miraculous. Now, does the high school follow up with a program that would mimic this at all?
I know that, they definitely are using Google. Having two children at the high school, they're coming home and using the same thing. That's something that we could probably do a better job of coordinating between the districts to make sure that we're all on the same page with technology. But I know Mr. Bagby at the high school does a nice job of making sure that they're up to speed at the high school level as well with technology as best that he can. So
before we came in here, Barb and I were talking about working as a team, and that's kind of a core issue with this whole technology thing in District 27, isn't it?
Yes, it's the direction we're heading, especially. This year, a lot of our focus in our professional development, we started off the year, I don't know if you've heard of breakout or escape rooms, maybe, where people
Coloring
go in
rooms, I've heard
and they
of.
have to work. You could have a great office for this. You have to work to get, as a team, to get out of there. Well, we did a breakout with our teachers with boxes, and what that does is team building, and so those teachers have brought that idea to their classrooms. So technology, I don't know if you know it, technology is just when a human uses a tool to accomplish a task. That's what the true definition of technology is. So we try to not just think of it as electronic in nature, but where we're using tools to be able to accomplish a task. And so we taught, what you're teaching is how to cooperate with one another, how to build teamwork, how to be critical thinkers and creative in your thinking. So we started with that, and then we also brought in Pat Doolin from Integrity Data. He came in and spoke to our teachers about careers and what people in the business workforce are looking for. And I know you mentioned in our conversation your daughter and how she says the same thing. Soft skills are so important. Mm-hmm. Being able to communicate with another person, being able to share ideas, being able to hear and be empathetic of another person's point of view. And that's a direction we're heading at the District 27. We're having a STEM class next year.
That's just a basic life skill.
Yes.
Your whole life you have to get along with people and accept people where they are.
Yes. And everybody has a different skill that they bring to the conversation. So we're really wanting students to start kind of identifying with what their their set of strengths are. Learning how to look at failure as not the end, but as an opportunity to grow. And that'll be big conversations we have next year with our students, especially at the junior high.
You know, just thinking way back. I had a technological thing at my desk, and it was a tablet, and you'd write on it, and you'd lift the thing up, and all the writing would disappear. Maybe that was the only running of technology.
Not sure that tool was very useful.
Let's get serious for a minute. You're a local lady. You're a local product. So
Yes.
I think we ought to talk about that for
Okay.
just a jiffy. Local girl done good, as they say. So tell us a little bit about your background, Barb, if you will.
I was born in California, but that's only because my father
Well, we
served.
won't hold that against you
Yeah,
at all.
thank you. My father served in the service, so I was an Air Force born on an Air Force base, but we came home after his time in the service was over, and we returned to Illinois. My grandmother was Laura Baker, and she was a teacher,
Yes.
and so a local lady also who'd lived her whole life in Lincoln, and this is where we returned. We did live in Beeson. I grew up kind of fourth grade to through high school. I lived in Beeson, but went to the high school, Lincoln High School, and did my student teaching. Actually, had an opportunity to do my last student teaching at Lincoln High School as well. So took a job for 2 years in Normal at the Normal Community High School, but then came to Lincoln and had been pretty much, I consider myself a junior high teacher. I love Lincoln Junior High, and even though I work for the district, that's my home base when I think of where I belong.
Actually, you said when you graduated from college that to teach in special ed was your calling, you felt. Now, when you presented these ideas to your students, were they excited?
Oh, yeah,
Were they eager to make it work?
Oh, yes. Everything I brought to, well, we were lucky too that I go back to how important professional development is. The person who had been in my role before I took it on, before she retired, had an opportunity to bring about 10 professional development opportunities for teachers. We could go on a Saturday morning and learn how to use Microsoft Word and maybe the internet, learn how to search the internet. Believe it or not, that was a lesson I needed taught, because the internet was pretty new when I started teaching. But PowerPoint, so everything I learned in there, I brought back to my students, and they loved it, and they were so good at it, and eager to really present what they had. Students love sharing, and so they just really wanted to show others what they had created, and were so proud of the work they were doing. That was a little different than maybe pen and paper, and I saw the difference. I saw the engagement of the students. So.
Your enthusiasm shows through, and it occurs to me, folks, that Mrs. Coffey ought to be out there on the bench interrogating Mark Zuckerberg, because the rest of those vacuous idiots are out there asking questions, trying to act important. They don't know a damn thing about it.
Say, good boy, don't hide your light under a bushel. Just say it.
Well, they're just so patently dumb sometimes. Let's get back to serious matters. You mentioned our friend Patrick Dew and Integrity Data. How have they been of assistance to you?
Well, the way we've asked for their support is really more as a kind of to share with teachers the importance of those soft skills that I mentioned before: creativity, critical thinking, communication, and really stress to teachers why that's so important to start, even in kindergarten, to teach those skills to young people. I met with Pat about a year and a half ago, about this time, a year and a half ago, and asked him, what does he look for in an employee? And he said, you can send me someone who's gone to college and learned how to write script, or the task that they have to do in his business. He said, but you cannot teach someone the soft skills that they need to learn. And I know he works with Clint Pollock and Linkubate.org. He believes in the importance of teaching students how to work with each other and find their passions. That was the other big takeaway I think he had. Would you add to that?
Well, and I know that he'll be instrumental with our STEM lab. Would you talk a little bit about what STEM stands for, and moving forward with our new STEM lab that is going to be at the junior high, and a new class that we've started, which we're really excited about?
Yeah.
So
we one of the things we had to get teachers on board with technology, make sure they had the skills, Google skills, to use that. But now we're ready for even more exciting things. We're going to be starting a coding or a robotics team at the junior high, where students can compete against other school districts on building robots and being able to do those challenges. This is new for me. I'm hoping I'm going to be learning as they do also. But we'll start this robotics team. But more importantly, we're going to be offering to every student who comes through the junior high 2 semesters of STEM training, which they'll learn coding and robotics and graphic design and in informational literacy, how to not just search the internet, but really use it as a tool to be informed. And just a number of skills, and hopefully we'll have some expertise from Integrity Data and other businesses to come in and talk to our students about the importance of career exploration and discovering their passions and why that's so important, even at a young age, to start understanding what motivates you, what excites you, and how they can turn that into an occupation.
It would just make a better life.
Yes.
Period. For anybody who takes advantage of those things.
You know, Mrs. Busby, I'm sitting here thinking, you and I may be in over our heads this morning.
Well, we're not in over your head, but we're certainly way above mine. I am very technologically impaired. In fact, I have a great-grandson who, by the time he was 2, boy, if you'd give him anything that lit up and he could make the pictures change, he'd just go at it. So the younger they are, the better off you are as an educator, having some luck with them, it seems. They seem to be born with this innate...
Well, sadly, yeah, my 6-year-old can navigate my phone better than I can. And
see?
That's kind of the direction that our children are heading, and so we've got to keep up with the times, for sure.
What's your boy doing? I lost my ringtone that I will maybe a better find. Of a serious note, we mentioned... Hello, testing 1.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
What happens? We mentioned Eaton a while ago. I should be able to remember that my grandfather's name was Eaton, for goodness sake. Well, you know, momentary block there. They're involved very, very significantly in assisting District 27. Do you want to address that? Either one of you take the point on that.
Okay. About 3 years ago, Eaton offered an opportunity for anyone in the community. It is a community grant, and I know we're not the only ones that have benefited from that grant, but they offered people to write grants. In the first year, we wrote for some Chromebooks that helped us put a lab in our junior high, because we were moving away from laptops and trying to get our students used to Chromebooks. And then the next year, we asked for some more Chromebooks because, you know, we're still trying to meet this initiative. So by doing that allowed us to concentrate funds on, you know, some other things as well as these Chromebooks. Again, helping us meet our goals that Eaton has. I believe it was $20,000 last time for Chromebooks.
Wow.
And then this year they've donated another $15,000 towards our STEM lab, which will be used to purchase Ozobots and hydraulic arms and STEM kits, 3D printers, large format printers for our graphic designs lessons. So we're really going to have some very exciting tools for students to use that they would find in a workplace. These are going to be high-end opportunities for our students that we can't just provide that without additional support from other sources. And we're so thankful.
The 3 that you've mentioned are certainly involved on all kinds of levels with all kinds of entities.
Yes.
In Logan County. That's Eaton and Integrity Data, and you said that you've gotten help from help me find it.
The Woods Foundation.
Yeah, there's another one.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
they're
they helped
just
us recently.
most helpful.
Yeah, the Woods Foundation just recently sponsored a 5th grade trip for all of Logan County 5th grade students, which was amazing, to go to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, but they traveled in style. They provided funding for charter buses to take them up to the museum. And I tell you, just the look on some of the faces of the students, just when they see that skyline of Chicago, many of our students they don't make it out of Logan County, or if they do, they don't go very far. And so
Chicago's a foreign land, you know.
For many of them.
In so many ways.
Correct. So the Woods Foundation for many years has been very beneficial to District 27. And another one, maybe not so much with technology, but the Abraham Lincoln Memorial Hospital and their foundation, amazing as well. And Mr. Dowpaws has been very supportive, and they provide, and along with Angie Stolzenberg, they provide the Catch program, which is for fitness for our students, and also they've been very instrumental in helping with mental health issues and providing an additional counselor at the junior high, and that's all compliments of their foundation work and what they do for the area.
Those things dovetail, because there was talk a number of years ago when technology was really beginning to blossom, about, oh, this isn't good. The kids won't go out and play ever. They'll just sit in a dark room with a computer and look at the screen. Well, now here you're attacking the student body from two directions. That's wonderful.
You mentioned the dark room, and what if we don't recognize some sponsors, our airtime will go dark. And the people out there in the kind will be bereft of any knowledge of any kind. Go right ahead, Mr. Ray. Right back live to studios with Viewpoint, program 96.3. By the way, 648-5510. Judy and I have two guests here who are vitally important to your kids in the community. And we're happy. We're tickled to death to have this kind of quality leadership at the very basic level, the elementary level. So we really appreciate the fact that you're here. Judy K., you were going to ask a question that's very important to the subject matter of the day.
Okay. And they pay us.
Not much, but
Go figure. Well, anyway, I would like to address two different things. And one can take one thing and one can take the other. That's how we learn to take turns, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. We have a free summer lunch program, which is invaluable. And also, we were going to talk about soft skills and about what I mentioned about being afraid that the kids are going to sit in front of the computer all the time and they won't go out and play ball.
Yep.
Climb trees.
Why don't you start with that?
Okay. Climb trees. When we went one-to-one, that was maybe one of the concerns of teachers is, that's a concern of mine as a tech coordinator. I do not want to see students just engage solely in a Chromebook and you walk into a classroom and all you see are students, with their faces in a screen. And so that's part of the reason for the conversation about soft skills and building. We've been adding STEM challenges to our curriculum this year, and we will next year, where students have to work together to accomplish a common goal. The technology, again, is just a tool that helps them maybe research how to do, how to create a better catapult, if you will. I'm kind of at a stumping point for things, but I know we're talking about building chariots next year. They study the Romans, and so they have to build chariot races, and they'll have chariot races to decide who had the best chariot. But using robots, they'll use a Sphero to do that. They have to work together to come up with these ideas and design these products, and what they're doing is really building that team building skill. They're using technology. They're finding relevant ways to use it, much like we would in our own personal life or at work, but that's not all they're doing. They're working together. They're cooperative. The other thing about technology and not being just involved in isolation, we're finding new ways for students to share the work they're doing, giving them real audiences using the web. We have sites that we use where students can share their writing and share what they've created. Adobe has a great Adobe Spark where they can share out some of their designs. They've created digital designs, and letting a bigger audience see the work that they're doing and comment and provide feedback is really important. Those kids learn from what others outside of their classroom share with them. So trying to connect them into places outside of the classroom is important too.
Oh my!
If you could show just a little more enthusiasm. I'm sitting here, Judith K. Seriously, my gosh, we're lucky to have that lady in our system, because the kids are going to benefit from such. She's steeped in the depth of her knowledge of it, but more than that, it carries over into enthusiasm for your work. And I just have to tip my hat off to you, young lady, and a hometown girl at that.
Yeah, I love what I do.
Well, that's pretty obvious.
That shines forth very well.
Thank you.
It's very lucky for the kids in District 27 to have the both of you. I hope they realize how blessed, well, they wouldn't, but maybe their mom will.
We talked about a matter of the use of the technology and the effectiveness. Tell me about this. They're a standardized test. Mr. Froebe, what is PARCC? That is a synonym for.
Well, PARC is the standardized test that we've had the last few years, and it's Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers is what it stands for. And for the third year in a row, I'm very excited that District 27 has had the highest scores and meets and exceeds for our students in Logan County, and so we continue to do, and that's a true testament to the teachers and to the administrators and to our coordinators, and we have instructional coaches that get in and work with the teachers. We're very proud of that. This past year, Lincoln Junior High, the junior high actually outperformed such neighboring communities as Williamsville and Rochester and Chatham-Glenwood. So I feel like wonderful things are happening in District 27, and our junior high students are fully prepared when they leave the junior high to head out to the high school, and a lot of that ties in, and maybe Mrs. Coffey could talk about where it's not just technology coordinator, where her role has really been kind of a curriculum and instructional coach role, where she's working with teachers, and you could maybe talk a little bit.
Well, the technology is your spare time.
Well,
I see.
I've been really fortunate to work with, we have two coaches, Ashley Phillips, Mary Clark, and a curriculum coordinator, Marcia Dallas. And it's been very exciting, the fact that these ladies, we all feel the same way about our role is something that needs to be cohesive, and technology is a part of curriculum. It isn't an aside. We don't just want to take students down to a lab and teach them how to use the tool. We want it to be part of what they're learning in the classroom. So we tie everything to curriculum, and these coaches have used my skills to help build better opportunities for curriculum opportunities for students, and I've used their skills. When I design a lesson, I think about what the standards are and how we can help students perform better, achieve higher scores on PARC, because that's the game we play. And I feel really lucky to work with people that see the value and see how technology can help with what they do.
Well, when you defined PARC, the acronym, you said that it's for college and careers. Not everybody in the known world goes to college.
Right.
Right. And most people in today's world do have to find a career, and there are places, thankfully, like MTI, who are invaluable for that population.
I've heard that in the year 2020, one of the things that really stood out to me is that the average age of a contractor will be 58 years old. And so, you're talking a very huge, it's an industry we rely on, that most of the people are going to be retiring in the next 7 years, or of retirement age, and we don't have a population to replace them. So I look at this opportunity for the STEM class isn't just about using more technology, but also teaching students how to use like CAD software and how to build and design something and see their ideas come to life. I think that carries over into, the woodworking and building trades classes coming, and it really is going to appeal to some of our kids that don't see college as an option. If they don't want to do college, then we need to teach them how to find something else that interests them.
That's right. Yeah, if you're in a field that doesn't have any magic for you, boy, you're in for a mighty long life. That's the cat, not to be afraid.
I was wondering if someone was on the roof.
That's Mabel the cat.
Yes, and she gets real upset because she doesn't get paid. So she comes in through the ductwork and makes terrible rackety noises. If you run across a program in your computers that makes Mabel be quiet, please call.
Well, we'll keep that in mind when we do a design challenge.
Yeah.
By the way, have you got a place to keep her so other districts don't find out about her?
Yeah, really.
We want to kind of put a hood over her so she just operates within the confines of 27.
Very dedicated.
We don't want anybody to steal her away, because I can just, I'm just so enthused with with Mrs. Coffey's enthusiasm and obvious knowledge for work, a side issue, just real quickly. Chromebooks. Physically, what are they? Are they like
They
a
look
laptop?
like here.
Are they
like
like
to
a
see one?
laptop? Oh my goodness!
This is a Chromebook.
It's about the size of a laptop.
Yep, not
Yeah,
the size. They
right.
look the
Yeah.
same. They operate the same. Like I said, the selling features for us are the fact that you don't have to pay for additional apps to be able to, productivity suite tools like Word and Sheets or Excel, things that you
That's impressive. You
normally
carried
use.
that in your purse? And
I always have my device
always
with
has
me.
it handy. There you
Didn't
go.
you
I
notice
didn't
she
bring
lists?
mine.
Is it too late for me to?
I am the technology coordinator.
Is it too late for me to unlearn Apple and go into Windows?
Yeah, no, it's probably never too late to learn something new. I've learned that from my grandmother. She was
like-
trying up to 99 to learn how to
Isn't
use
that
the
remarkable?
internet. Yeah.
I like your approach in addressing your phone book, your Chromebook, as a tool. Not that it's the Holy Grail or the Holy Bible or anything like that. It's a life tool. Can be an invaluable one unless you put it up on a pedestal.
I feel the same way about, smartphones. Our students all have a device. They have their phones. Almost every student comes to school with one.
Yeah.
But, we do allow our students to use their phones. However, I want them to see it more than just a way to use social media and a way to text another person. We teach them how to use calendars, how to how to prioritize tasks using their phone, how to send out reminders, just really skills that hopefully, they'll get in the habit of using now so that they can be better organized. My sister's daughter is a seventh grader at junior high, and I know she said that Mackenzie, I hope she doesn't mind me using her name, but Mackenzie, she struggled a little bit as a grade schooler because, just being organized. And she said everything changed when she came to the junior high and we handed her a Chromebook. Everything's in that device. She knows what needs to be done. All her materials are right there at her fingertips. And we have, as a district, have taught them how to access those materials. So she's going to leave the junior high with a skill set that even if they don't continue in high school to foster, she already knows how to use it and the importance of it. So.
And none of those kids at the junior high are going to get any younger.
No.
So it's a good time to catch them.
Yeah,
really.
it is. And I'll shout out to her. She is she's not board scholar, but she was straight A's. Yeah, she was board scholar,
She
right?
was, yes.
Yes, for the semester. So
Well,
shout
see?
out to Mackenzie. She's doing great.
Fair enough.
See?
We won't even charge you for that.
You
There
don't
you
have
go.
to.
There you go. Another term you keep using is soft skills. Boy, Mabel's really got an issue today.
She had too much coffee last night.
I guess.
Hi, Mabel.
Soft skills you were talking about. I don't know what a soft skill is.
Well, soft skills are just those skills that an employee might come to you with that you can't necessarily train them on. So it's a skill that it's kind of innate. Your ability to communicate, which you guys are great at. Be a creative thinker. You can't teach a student how to be creative. They have to develop that skill. Critical thinking. We have to provide opportunities for them to think critically, think outside of the box. And also, I would need to remember all of them. There's one more I'm missing. Communicate, create, critical thinking, collaborate. Thank you. Collaborate with one another.
Yes,
So sharing one person's ideas, understanding that person's ideas might be different than yours, but maybe a combination of both those ideas is going to get you to the end goal. And my husband always says when you collaborate, it means both sides lose. That's what he tells me every time.
You don't suppose we could work something out whereby in the summer, when you're having your quote free time, you could go out and do something with Congress or even down to Springfield, maybe.
You
could
set
help them
something up,
bunch
I'll
of-
go talk.
They
They tell me I'm good at that.
Right.
Would it follow, or is it fair to ask if a student is really conversant with your Chromebook, quite efficient with that, are they any better students in the basics like reading, writing, and arithmetic?
I don't know how to answer that one.
I'm just curious to know if there's a correlation there.
I think that, I think our park scores speak of the importance of, we've brought these, we do have a focus on some technology skills, and I'm working with the other coaches on our writing. Really, that's been a big focus instructionally for us as a district, is how to improve student writing, because we know that there's a tie-in between reading and writing, and if you can write, then you can read better, and using technology seems to be a more efficient tool for writing reading. They can do it does grammar checks for them, and they can copy and paste, and it makes the whole process less frustrating to a student. So yeah, I do think if they're efficient on a Chromebook, they're going to become more efficient as readers, writers, and math.
Thank you for that. What did she say?
I was reading your note.
We want to talk about the summer lunch program. Mr. Ash has passed me.
We're running out of time, aren't we?
Yeah.
So quickly, I want to plug our free summer lunch program. It's sponsored through the State Board of Education, and we piloted it last year, where we did every Tuesday and Thursday. We provide free meals for children 18 or under, and it can be any student from any district, any town. If you're from Hartsburg and you happen to be in Lincoln and you want to stop by and get a free lunch. But we're going to have it this year every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 12 to 12:30 at Northwest Elementary School and at Lincoln Junior High. And so Rob Harmon, he kind of brought that to the table, and on behalf of the Presbyterian Church, who's worked well with us, as well as Emmanuel Lutheran has jumped on, and they provide the volunteers. Connie Crawley, our food service director, does an excellent job, along with Colleen Jedlowski, our CFO. They do a great job of organizing it. And then last year, we averaged about 100 students or 100 people that would come every Tuesday and Thursday and get a meal. And it's just so important to make sure that, during the school year, we're providing two, hot meals for our kids in town, and to continue trying to make sure that they're well fed throughout the summer is important to us, and hopefully people will take advantage of stopping by for our free summer meals program.
They also offer. Are you tying it this year?
We've done it last year, and we're going to continue that. We tied it in with the Catch and the U of I extension. So Angie Whiteman did a great job with the Catch program, which is coordinated through the hospital, and then the 4-H program provided STEM activities, and they're going to continue doing that. So you can come in a little bit earlier before lunch and get an activity with the children, and then have the meal. We're also doing a kickoff celebration. I believe it is May 31st at the Lincoln Junior High ball field, baseball softball field, and we'll have inflatables for the kids, and along with the hot dogs and hamburgers, the free lunch will be inflatables, face painting, different activities for the kids to do, just to get the word out there that we are going to be providing free lunches every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday throughout the summer.
Be sure to send us a note before the 31st of May so that we can promo that for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Please and thank you.
And thank you to your church. The Presbyterian Church has really stepped up. They also do the meals every weekend for our students at Northwest, which is a lot of time and a lot of effort, and so I greatly appreciate their partnership with us as well.
See, the whole thing boils down to networking, and that's part of what you're trying to give these students, is an ability to network. And it's obviously imperative that we develop that, each and every one of us, even when we're my age, which is just over 29, by several decades.
And also a sense of community.
Slightly.
Feeling like they're a part of this community, and showing that the community, the partnerships we're creating, they care about them.
You bet.
Barbara Coffey and Brent testing 1, 2.
Froebe.
Testing 1, 2.
He's the tall one.
What day is it? We appreciate, seriously, we appreciate very much your taking the time. And I think Judith K. and James, we can assure that our voting citizens out there that they're getting a real bang for their buck. The one place I'd never worry about tax money is that which goes to education. And I don't think we get enough of it as it is. We could probably find some other places for some of our money. So thank you, Kent and Barbara, for being with us very much. You're doing a whale of a job.
Thank you. Thanks for having us again today.
We always try to close with a quote, and I couldn't find one very profound. But I found one that kind of emphasizes the vacuity of some of our politicians. Grady came up with it and said, and this is about as obvious as anything. She says, I believe education in civil civic duty and civic education is necessary in elementary schools. Well, duh. and I'm not going to mention the lady's name. I think it was Donna Brazil said that very profound observation. Thank you very much. You're done.